Hello and welcome to CIO News on our ZMOT series, Zero Moment of Truth for Startups. I am Kushbu Soni, a host for the broadcast and a contributing editor at CIO News, where we write about business strategy and boardroom issues for technology leaders. This is a recorded session and will be available on our CIO News website, which is cionews.co.in, and our CIO News LinkedIn page. Let me dive in introducing my guest for today. He's Srinivas Reddy. Srinivas is one of the founding members of CureFit and has been working with companies since the inception. He has won few caps in his journey at CureFit, right from HR, finance, legal, and expansion. As the company grew, Srinivas has taken a firm role which revolves around retail expansion and workplace. Prior to working with CureFit, Srinivas has worked in the startup ecosystem like Myntra, Yahoo, Sun Microsystem, Accenture, etc. Srinivas has managed a similar role in these previous companies as well. Welcome, Srinivas.
Thank you very much, Vipu. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
It's absolutely our pleasure to host you, Srinivas. Um, Srinivas, if you, we've all heard of CureFit, but if you can give us a quick brief, that'll be awesome.
Sure, why not? It's my pleasure. Um, so CureFit, to be honest, is actually a tech company, right? We've When we started off CureFit, we wanted to be very clear that a few years down the line, if someone wants to think about health and wellness, they should only think about CureFit, right? We had a similar vision when we were actually at Myntra, wherein if people would think of online and fashion, they would think about Myntra. So 5 to 7 years from today, if someone would want to think about health and wellness, ideally CureFit should be the first name that they should actually be able to recall. We have done good amount of progress, and I would assume that a lot of people would still actually go ahead and recall. But yeah, that's what CureFit. That was what our vision. That was what our aim is, and that still is. CureFit is a tech platform which actually brings in or integrates different aspects of health and wellness, starting from fitness, food, diagnostics, as well as mental wellness. While we have accelerated and we've actually become really big in terms of fitness, other verticals we are trying to still evaluate and see if they would actually make more sense. The idea is that we could bring all these data into one platform, and how all this data is talking to one another, for our customers to see where they actually stand. So so that's the online side of it, or that's the tech side of it. From the offline side of it, we currently have the cult centers, which are extremely famous, extremely popular amongst our customers. We are present in almost every major cities, not to mention the tier A. Currently, we have around 180 plus cities, 180 plus centers, I'm sorry. And each center ranges anywhere between 3,500 to around 5,000 square feet, depending upon the size and the format of the fitness center that we actually have. So I'm going to primarily talk about Cult because that's what we've actually reopened after the COVID actually closed, after the so-called pandemic.
Yeah,
So yeah, currently we are at that for Cult.
awesome. Srinivas, if you can share the founding story with us.
Uh, so I was still at Myntra when Mukesh gave me a call, and he said, he's actually planning to start up CureFit, and it's about fitness and wellness and health and etc. Uh, Health and wellness is something that I was always into since my childhood. There were years where where I actually gave up, gained a few pounds, but suddenly I would actually look at myself and realize that it's time to get back into the gym. So I've always had an inclination towards fitness, and wellness is something that I actually learned after joining into CureFit. Um, I think I think we were only about six of us, and I was the seventh guy who actually joined in. Six of us would be one Mukesh, one Ankit, their EAs, and two product guys. So obviously, anything outside the product was actually managed by me. Might it be the finance, or might it be the legal, might it be HR? I hired in the first 50 employees. It CureFit as a company gave me so much exposure into either HR, finance, or legal, that I don't think so. Me being into administration would have ever got this opportunity. Did this for about 6 months. Slowly, people started to actually join our teams, and because I was one of the founding team members,
Yeah.
with the rest of the team members, we actually had so much of fun every day. Every day would actually be like a real journey. I mean, our office was also very close to our house, so it was like most of the time we were actually there. We would actually party, we would actually work, we would actually go out, we would have such great weekend events, again revolving around fitness, like sports or trekking or things like that. But here is a, like, while most of the companies or most of the startups would actually be focusing or trying to keep the team very engaged, what CureFit did was slightly different. What Mukesh and Ankit did was that, even before the product was uh, zeroed in on, they actually wrote a company constitution, which was extremely humble of them. They in fact chatted out as to what kind of people we would ideally hire, what would the benefits be, how would the grading system actually happen. In fact, we didn't have a grading system. Let me correct myself. We had something called as a peer-to-peer appraisal, peer-to-peer feedback. So OKRs, KRAs. So these were all new terminologies, which was there in the market, but not too prominent. We were all used to the bell curve kind of a mechanism in terms of grading. So it was, even when there was a feedback which was actually given, it used to be like a very peer-to-peer feedback. There was never kind of a reporting structure within the entire company, and I'm surprised that CureFit is amongst such a company that it's a designation-less, flat hierarchy, individual contributing company, even at this scale and even prior to the COVID. So these guys were very clear as to how they would want to ideally run the company, and how they would want to structure, because the moment we would have designations or we would have positions, it would actually bring in bureaucracy, and we just didn't want to be that. We wanted to be extremely nimble, get your approvals on WhatsApp instead of mails, have a form signed with a, I mean, those things were never used to happen. So it was very fast. So the first 6 months actually ran like that, and that inculcated into other verticals when they started to become big. Uh, I can take my vertical. My vertical is called as real estate and workplace, which takes care of identification. That's real estate, projects, facilities, IT, safety, facilities, and design. If I had around 6 vertical heads working with me, I wouldn't be able to actually launch so many centers within such a short span if I would have a hierarchy within the team. Everybody within the team were actually empowered to take their call. We wouldn't have, while we would have a very broad overview on what they would actually be doing,
Yeah.
we didn't hire people to monitor them. We hired people so that they could take the company from stage A to stage B, right?
Awesome.
Now, this into the number of verticals that we had within the company is how Mukesh and Ankit actually ran the entire
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Srinivas, if you can share a few of your happiest moments with CureFit.
company. My my happiest moment was when, so all throughout my career I've actually been working with large office setups or large warehouses. You ask me to build a 10 lakh square feet office space in one location. Yes, we have a plan, we have a chart, we have everything ready, right? But if you would want to build 10 lakh square feet of retail space, which is divided into 3,000 to 5,000 square feet into multiple locations at different stages of the project, that was something which was very, very new, right?
Yeah.
What I realized very early within CureFit is that, yes, while you actually need the skill and the experience, I think so more than that, one actually needs the willpower, and very clear focus as to what they would want or how they would want to grow within the company. That actually obviously came with ownership and how much the company actually empowered. My first true moment within CureFit was when we handed over a center, uh, which was brand spanking new in the market. And it was actually opened at one of the best micro markets in Bangalore. In fact, even in India, that's Indiranagar, where people in that micro market did not even they didn't even they wouldn't even expect that a typical gymnasium would actually look like this. While ours was not a gymnasium, ours was a fitness center. There is a very slight difference, and when people would actually come in, they would actually ask questions. Where are the equipment? What are the types of workouts that you're doing? Why do I see boxing bags? You know, because there were so less people within the company. We from the admin and the projects team were the forefront in terms of talking to the customers. So it was really exciting. I felt really humbled and yet so fulfilling. While it was a very small center to begin with, but we ended up actually everybody had such fulfillment within the launch of the first center, and from there it kept on multiplying. That was the first milestone for us, wherein for the next 3 months we ended up launching one center a month. It was a very big thing. Then slowly we went on to five, and then our steady state was at around 10. So in the year 2019, we have a quarterly target of around 30 centers. So every month, my team with the business, of course, and the rest of the other functions who also helped us and supported us, we were able to actually launch 10 centers at an average per month in India. And we went all the way up till Jammu as well. And we are one of the few fitness centers who were able to actually open centers as soon as the markets there opened up.
Awesome. Awesome. Few of your challenging moments, Srinivas.
Challenging moments, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say it's as a challenge, because when we, as soon as we cracked the model in Bangalore, we were very clear that the next micro markets would definitely be Gurgaon NCR side and the Mumbai side, to an extent even Hyderabad. When we went to the cities and when we started to meet consultants, or when we started to meet prominent landlords in the retail vertical, they weren't too sure. I mean, they were there was a time where the prominent guys didn't want to meet us because they thought that we are just another run of the mill fitness center, right?
Yeah.
So there was they it really took us a long time to crack those markets, right? Wherein people would either quote a very exorbitant rate so that we don't disturb them, or they would just not be too confident with regard to our product, that they would actually not actually give us slots to meet. So once Bangalore as a city took off at a full fledged, we had a lot of marketing events. Our brand ambassadors did a fantastic job. Our marketing team did a fantastic job. And they made sure that everybody in India, that is the target audience, of course, the Instagrams and the Facebook customers. The moment they actually came to know that who we are, they in fact started approaching or looking out for centers. Now that news slowly went on to the landlords, and the landlords then actually opened up their doors. And once the floodgates actually opened, we were able to actually meet all our targets and open up really fast. Building out uh, building out even teams at those cities were again a challenging point, because the first question that people would ideally have, especially from the real estate or from the projects, is what, what when will the city actually peak? Once it actually its peak, what will actually be my role? That was the question which was asked on year two. I still have people into year five. So we have been keeping people busy because the cities continue to grow. The formats actually continue to spread, and there are more platforms which are actually coming in. So all in all, it has been a great bet, either for the retail real estate owners or for our employees who've actually onboarded with us.
Awesome. Okay. Great. Impact of COVID. How has CureFit faced any challenge in this COVID situation that we were in?
Okay. So COVID has touched every life, right? Might it be either from the richest or to the poorest, right? Everybody has actually been affected. If one person actually says that they have not been affected, either they are lying or they're actually, living under a cave,
True.
right?
Yeah.
So it it actually hit us the most, uh, because we are I mean, at least on the retail side, it
Yeah.
actually hit us a lot, because all our centers were shut. Trainers are our product. If they are not able to visit the center, what will they even train?
True.
Customers weren't able to actually come in. The owners actually had taken up loans and opened up the centers, so even they were actually in a fix. While a lot of owners actually came forward and said, you know what, we know that there is a pandemic situation, we would want to help you, and they stood next to us. That's a separate story. But in terms of the impact that it had on the business, it was there. But our team was extremely agile. The tech team, the product team were extremely agile. They said, okay, if there is one tab which is closing, let's actually open up the second tab. So they quickly actually opened up different verticals, like cult life, personal training, and things like that, or home cooking, things like that, where customers were still actually kept engaged. Obviously, the first few weeks of the pandemic, we were also trying to figure out what we do next. But as we figured out that COVID is something that's going to stay with us for a long period of time, we do not want to actually sit and wait for it to go away. But let's try and bring out more products so that we are going to keep our customers engaged.
Right.
Now, what happens to the customers who already bought the membership, or who have actually taken subscription with us? Our founders, again,
Yeah.
extremely. One of our mottos is to actually do the right thing always, right?
Yeah.
So we actually told, or we reached out to our customers, and we actually told them that don't worry, we are actually going to pause your membership. If I think so, in some case, if you would want, they would also actually do a refund, right? Because we didn't want to actually keep people's money, and when there is no value which is actually coming out of it, right, to the customer. So we even helped out people there as well. But all in all, I think it was a challenging time. It was a testing time, but it actually brought out the best from the company. Everybody came together, right from from our founders till every supporting vertical. Everybody came together, and we used to talk, we used to motivate each other, we used to actually churn out new ideas, and rolling out of ideas was that much more easier for us and faster.
Great, great story. Srinivas, how is CureFit helping its customers? Uh, you know, obviously, and what is the way forward in 2021 for CureFit to help its customers?
A customer is always king, right? I mean, this is something that we've always heard. Uh, CureFit, or CureFit as a vertical, we are actually trying to churn out new. The first 6 to 8 months, what we would want to do is to stabilize, bring the confidence within the customers, and tell them that we are ready. We are slowly trying to open up, support us, look up to us, and we are here to meet your wellness needs, right? So for the next 6, 8, 12 months, we would actually scale back to what we were pre-COVID. That I think would be last December, January types, right? Uh, post post the 6, 8, 12 months, we would actually be rolling out different products. We are looking at, while there are a lot of plans in the making, which I cannot actually be discussing in the open. I know that there is a lot of value propositions that we would ideally be bringing in to the customers. Uh, how can we actually take the product from within four walls to your mobile, or to a hotel room that you would actually travel, or to your native TV set, as to where you're going to stay? How can one single person be your point of contact? There are a lot of ideas that they are actually thinking of, but
Awesome.
the confidence of a customer is what we would ideally be building in. to make sure that they actually stay motivated and they stay close to us for many years to come.
And Shivas, what is the future of work looks like for CureFit?
We spoke recently, and
Yeah, yeah,
I would want to reiterate the same part. Workspace is really dear to me, and I actually like the idea of getting up in the morning, and figuring out what my day looks like,
yeah,
getting ready, and going to work, looking forward to meet either my colleagues or new folks within the meet. So for me, a workspace is really important. But this has been the case for the past 25, 30, 40, 50 years, with times actually changing either by force or by choice.
yeah,
I think we need to actually be very adaptive. Gone are the days where people would still wear a tie and come to office. I
yeah,
can't believe that people would actually still do it, but even today they are. But
yeah,
slowly such kind of traditional companies are also loosening up a bit now,
true.
because of the pandemic and because of people actually tasting this pandemic result of working from home. I think a lot of companies would do two things. One is that they would definitely try to see how they can optimize their cost
Yeah,
and give a give an option for only relevant people a dedicated seat. A non-relevant folks who do not necessarily need a seat, they would ideally give them an option to either work from home or work remotely, or come to office very sporadically.
yeah,
There will be other set of folks who would ideally say, you know what, let's actually experiment this for the next 1 2 years. Let's
yeah,
scale to a extent where we realize that we can't actually be working from home or working remotely, and then actually look for an office space. So these kind of companies will not only be giving people an opportunity to experience something new, even in a post-pandemic world, but they would also be pushing forward that burn to a
yeah,
large extent. For a larger or a traditional company, you know, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 employees, I think they would eventually open up to fill the capacities because they've invested very heavily. I still know a lot of companies which are actually, a lot of tech companies which are actually opening up offices. But I think their future growth for the next 2, 3, 4 years will be carefully evaluated, right?
right.
And I think so there would be a mixture of hot desks and as well as dedicated desks. So if I have to zoom out and answer your question, I think for the next 2 to 4 years, it is going to be very sporadic and people will actually have a very hybrid model,
Yeah,
depending upon how the market grows or what happens to the pandemic. God forbid there is no other pandemics which actually
yeah,
hits us, right? I think people would eventually move to a 60/40 kind of a ratio.
got it, got it, got it. Awesome. Great, Srinivas. It has been a great interaction, and thank you so much for sharing your insights and journey with us. Um, Before we end this, I just have one question, which is apart from all the work that we've been discussing. While we were all at home, in the last 9, 10 months, any new hobby that you've picked up? I know fitness is a hobby by itself, but anything apart from work, any new hobby that you picked up that you would like to share?
Uh, it's not a new hobby that I've actually picked up, but I in fact started to invest more time. I in fact realized that there is a lot that one needs to look forward to apart from work. While
Yeah,
I love my work and I'm really grateful and humble for it, I started to actually do a lot of biking, which is something which I missed out for the past 6, 8 years. That's something which I picked up. But inside home, I've started to not only teach chess to my son, but I've also started to pick up the skill. So yeah, that's one indoor and one outdoor for me.
awesome, great. Great, Srinivas. It has been a great interaction. Thank you so much for being part of our Zedomotive series, and it is a
My
pleasure to
pleasure.
host you today.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.